my 2019 Home Climbing Wall of the Year submission. I previously had a climbing cave in the back half of my garage, but upon entering the V4 outdoor range, I wanted something a little bit more challenging, something a little bit more taller. You can see my garage is only 7.5 feet tall. I wanted a moon board, but obviously that's not going to fit. I wanted something that could roll out of the garage and expand to the full length of a moon board, but also be able to climb inside of the garage during rainy days and the winter months. People ask me if I have a PDF plan of my climbing wall that I could email them. I do not. I drew these plans on a napkin and just had hopes and dreams that everything would work out. The dimensions for this wall, I just went off the Moonboard website. The kickboard and the first 2 sheets of plywood come out to roughly 7.25 feet. Once again, my wall's 7.5 feet, so it kind of worked out. I believe on the kickboard, I trimmed off 1 inch just to be on the safe side when we tipped the wall forward, that it wouldn't scrape the roof or the ceiling of the garage. Here we're gonna start making the kickboard. I'm gonna put 5 column supports in it. When I made the 40-degree angle of the wall, I only used 4 support beams like the moonboard directions showed. I would probably go back and do 5, if not 6. I could still add a 5th one now, but I just haven't had the time to do so. We made the base of the frame out of 2x6s to keep it bottom heavy, and then we made the extension piece out of 2x4s to keep the top light. At first, the extension piece was made out of 1 sheet of plywood, but that ended up being too heavy to maneuver around, so we made it 2 pieces that would be 2 feet by 8 feet. Here we're framing out the 40-degree angle of the climbing wall. Once that's up, we're going to put a 4x4 underneath it for temporary support, as we sketch out some plywood to drill it on the side for temporary support as well, so we can frame out that exoskeleton. Once the plywood was screwed in on both sides, we removed the temporary supports, and then we began with the exoskeleton, which consisted of a 4x4 post on each side, some vertical 2x4s, and a 1x1 around the outer perimeter. Once everything was completed on the right side, I repeated the process over on the left side and then touched everything up with a coat of paint. The only thing I didn't get a chance to record was putting up the plywood panels. That was kind of a pain. As you can see right here, there's only those 2 supports in the middle. I would definitely add 1, if not 2 more. As we were installing the panels, we realized that we trimmed the kickboard too far and too much on the right side. As my friend was fixing the hole in the wall, I began spraying the wall with my first pack of climbing holds I ever got, a Metolius variety pack, followed by a bunch of Atomik Climbing Holds, a purple pack of So Ill, real concrete rock holds I bought off eBay, and the yellow original schoolroom holds from Moon Climbing. With all the holds on the wall, it was time to add the wheels. I went on Google and found an engineering calculator and began adding up the total weight of the plywood, the 2x4s, the 2x6s, the bolts, the climbing holds, the T-nuts, and a bunch of other things, and then adding an extra 20% to the total weight just to be on the safe side. It came somewhere around 550 pounds, so I went with a max load caster wheel of 750 pounds. As you can see here, we added a rocker at the bottom of the climbing wall, so it took some of the pressure off the wheel as we tipped it back and forth. Next, we started adding the holes for the gas pipe. Originally we were going to have 6 pieces, but we ended up only using 4, which seemed to be fine. Here I spent about like an hour or so sanding and dremeling out the holes, just so the process would go a little bit more smoother, sliding in and out the pipe and extension pieces. I'm now going to show you the full process of what it takes to set it up in real time and take it down in real time. You're able to set the wall up with one extension piece, only requiring one person. However, if you want to set the full wall up with both extension pieces, you will need 2 people.
What? I told you. You had it right there first time.
Here we line up the top of the climbing wall with the crack in the parking lot, and we line up the sides of the climbing wall with the entrance of the garage. That way when we tip it up, if it falls forward, it falls into the garage and it doesn't hit the sides. Next, we're going to tip up the climbing wall on its side and put a ladder underneath it for support as we grab the gas pipe to slide in and the extension pieces to slide on top of the gas pipe. Once again, the weight distribution just worked out too perfect. I couldn't have planned it any better. Here you can see we ran into a little trouble lining up the gas pipe with the holes, but that only took about 15 seconds and we straightened out the problem. Here it's easier if you have 2 taller people, but we're going to walk underneath the wall while lifting it up with our hands. My friend's turning the crash pad 90 degrees so it doesn't slam on the ground. It's going to come down slowly and just rest on the crash pad. Once the wall is erected, we put the ladder on the side of the climbing wall. My friend lifts up the wall a little bit as I slide the mat out, and we put all the mats under the wall and we're ready to climb. That whole process took roughly 5 minutes. Takedown process, which also takes 5 minutes. We start off with removing all the crash pads out of the way. We bring the ladder to the crack in the driveway that I mentioned earlier. throw over the small crash pad to protect the climbing holds as we tip the wall forward. My friend and I are going to go to the back side of the climbing wall and tip the wall forward. And once again, it's just a marvel of weight distribution.
One, two, three.